The male lead reincarnates as a useless demon clan nobody. Just because he was so weak, his own kind dragged him off as a sacrifice. But the moment he opened his eyes, with a single breath he wiped out every demon there. Only one demon recognized him as the strongest healer. And he also had the skill. The more he kills, the stronger he gets. In the final battle 5 years ago, the hero's side faced off against the demon army and suffered massive losses. In the end, they finally killed the Demon King, but the Demon King also left the hero party badly wounded. Not only that, before dying, the Demon King left flesh and blood on their bodies. It began gnawing away, trying to take over their bodies, and the male lead's left arm was assimilated too, until in the end, he could only take matters into his own hands against his teammates. Then he crushed his own heart, choosing mutual destruction, to perish together with the Demon King. 5 years later, somewhere unknown, a mantis demon was leading a new generation of demons in a ritual sacrifice. They captured for human girls, and also dragged along one demon clan trash. And right then that trash demon opened his eyes. That was the male lead newly reincarnated. The mantis demon slashed down with one strike, straight at the male lead. He swiftly ducked his head, deliberately letting the blade cut off his chained right arm. "You mongrel demon, still don't recognize me?" The mantis demon was instantly crushed by that familiar pressure. Sweat poured out on the spot, because he was the one and only demon who had seen the male lead grand in the battle 5 years ago. Back then, this mantis was just a rookie. That war nearly took his life. Even though he barely survived, it still cost him an arm. So he remembered the male lead all too clearly. "You're Ron, that mantis." Before he could finish, the male lead ripped his head off. After killing the mantis demon, he realized something. His corpse mountain blood sea was back. Wait, so I really came back to life? But in the very next second, a whole swarm of monsters came out of nowhere, charging at him all at once. He instantly grabbed the mantis's blade arm as a weapon. In just a few seconds, he slaughtered every monster there. At this point, the value of Corpse Mountain blood sea had already reached the 9th layer at lightning speed. These demons were nothing but low-level grunts. Corpse Mountain blood sea grows based on how weak the opponent is, and the strength increase varies accordingly. After cleaning up those small fries, he used his past life healing skill to restore himself. He regrew his arm, but right after it healed, he saw several snakes sprout out. In the end, it turned into a demon clan arm. Only then did he realize he hadn't revived at all. He'd reincarnated into the body of a demon. How disgusting. A lowly race. Aside from being killed by me, you have no value at all. A demon who used to bully this body's original owner showed up, saying he'd kill him sooner or later. He even swore he'd kill him for good. "Hey, you trash demon, did you hear the consequences yet?" Right as he thought a few words like that would be enough to scare the male lead. In the next second, the male lead stabbed a knife into the centipede's tail. Then he ripped downward, splitting it in two. The whole space turned a single shade of red. Even though the male lead didn't understand why he'd ended up in this situation, as long as he could keep slaughtering demons, he had nothing left to complain about. After that, he planned to find a place to rest. After scouting the situation for a while, he suddenly saw a giant monster that he had killed in his previous life. Back then, who knew it would end up benefiting this new generation of demons? They had directly built a base right on top of its corpse. Not long after, he found the cave from his memories. There were no traces of demons inside. It should be fine as a place to stay. Then he sat by the fire, drained and bitter. The male lead tossed one carving aside and took out another small one. If only I'd done better back then. Maybe I could have still smiled, laughing with my teammates every day. Then the male lead threw the carving into the fire. It was like a sign that Ron had been reborn. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through his head. Memories of this demon kept flooding in nonstop. In demon society, strength is everything. Yet this snake demon was constantly bullied. He was nothing but a mountain serf. But shockingly, the demons had even started studying. all kinds of human knowledge. Demons were originally just the demon emperor's tools of war, driven only by bloodlust. Yet in just 5 years they'd developed civilization to what it was now. He didn't know the reason, but the male lead believed everything that happened was because he hadn't been strong enough back then. In this life, he swore he'd become even stronger than before. No matter what it cost, he'd fulfill that vow. To wipe out the demon clan at its root. Early the next morning, he arrived at the rookie training grounds. At this moment, the horned demon instructor was explaining the overall situation across the continent. The male lead listened seriously from the side. So after the demon emperor died, the demon clan formed 5 great royal courts based on cultivation. They continued the war against humanity, and neither side could claim victory. That's how the stalemate was formed. Next came the lecture on talent seals. Talent seals are special kinds of abilities. Only some humans possess talent seals, but every single demon has one. Whether demon or human, using your talent seal requires consuming seal power within your body. The strength of seal power depends on your status and markings. From weak to strong it goes. From first seal up to 6th seal. Above 6th seal is the super seal, and 2nd seal is the key turning point. Even though first seal can use all talent seal skills, only upon reaching 2nd seal can you awaken the talent seal's authority. Basically, your ultimate move. Right now, the male lead was only at 1st seal. At that moment, a demon shoved the male lead forward. His appearance instantly drew everyone's attention. The surrounding demons stared, because he was a demon who possessed 2nd seal. Lei Peng bird archery was his specialty, and this body was often treated like a footstool by that bird. Right as he wondered, who let my mountain surf out again? The instructor cut through the demon's noisy chatter. Silence. Pick anyone you want and toss him into the latrine pit. Now it's time for practice. Then the instructor pulled back the cloth, revealing the monster inside and introducing it. This is an evil howler demon. It's a monster created by the demon emperor, but it's stupid beyond belief. It'll even attack fellow demons. It has only one weakness on its body. Use everything you've got and find it, you useless rookies. The male lead felt he'd gathered enough intel from here already. Just as he was about to leave, something unexpected happened. The evil howler demon suddenly charged in to savagely attack the group of demons, but the instructor yanked the chain around its neck and held it back. Even though this beast has the strength of 3rd seal, its only weakness is its throat, and I've got it under control. Suddenly, the evil howler demon spoke. You new generation demons, you're seriously naive and easy to trick. Acting for just a few weeks, and you think you've completed that superior's mission? For the one up above, huh? Today I'll wipe out this bunch of royal court rookies. You brutal little punks. That'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Then it barely flicked a finger, and the chain around its neck shattered. In the next second, the instructor with 2nd seal strength was killed on the spot by the evil howler demon. Seeing this, the new generation demons panicked and ran for their lives. But the evil howler demon only let out 1 roar, and it wiped out half of them. At this moment, the Peng bird was lucky to survive, thinking that running was the smartest move. He didn't want to waste his secret weapon right now. But right then, his face slammed hard into the male lead's shoulder. He fell to the ground, cursing the male lead. And the male lead just looked down on him with contempt. He wiped the filthy blood off his shoulder with his hand. At that moment, the evil howler demon noticed the 2 of them. It lunged at them with savage force, casually killing even more demons along the way. The Peng bird, terrified, prepared to use his secret weapon. Just as the evil howler demon was about to close in, the male lead turned and stared him down. His whole body radiated killing intent. The demon was instantly overwhelmed by his aura, and froze in fear. Why wasn't this tiny demon afraid of him? Not even a little? There wasn't a hint of fear at all. Could it be he knows my weakness? 9 of my foolish kin died years ago. He's a new generation demon, so he definitely shouldn't have seen the evil howler demon before. It kept reassuring itself, thinking the male lead was just putting on a bluff. Just as it was about to step toward the male lead, it saw a sight that made cold sweat pour down. Take one more step, and you'll die. The evil howler demon threatened. Looks like you want me to do it for real, huh? It spread its wings and charged, roaring out, then watch closely. My authority. Ron still stood right there, his face unbelievably calm. The evil howler demon's attack shattered the rocks. It muttered, if he's just pretending, killing him doesn't benefit me at all. But if he's actually some hidden master, wouldn't I look ridiculous? High risk, low reward. Only an idiot would take that deal. After saying that, the evil howler demon decided to fly elsewhere. Stunned, the kid could only think, did it run away? A hand suddenly reached out, lightly offering help. The blonde guy, wearing an annoyed expression, was thinking about something. He looked away, secretly wondering, what's this guy trying to do? Pull me up? Don't think you can get close to me like that. I'm a second seal genius and he's just a serf. Does he really think I'll fall for this? That hand quickly ripped off a piece of cloth from Varian's clothes. Ron used the torn cloth to wipe the grime off his hand. The blonde guy was furious. He shouted, you disgusting farmer. The people around them whispered. The evil howler demon actually got scared off. You did that? What move did you even use? Zaruk demanded, explain the trick you used in detail. A serf isn't allowed to hide anything from warriors of our rank like us. Ron calmly replied, I once read a tactical handbook about demons written by humans. In it says the evil howler demon can't see motionless targets. As long as you stand still, it won't notice you. Everyone discussed in shock. That book written by Ron, the demon-slaying madman? He understands demons better than we do. His judgment shouldn't be wrong. Don't mention that terrifying name. Since you know the evil howler demon's weakness, cut off its head and claim the reward. Ron thought to himself, the evil howler demon's eyesight is insanely sharp. Who the heck would just stand still? Might as well go reincarnate. The blonde guy muttered jealously. He read a little and now he's acting all arrogant, like he doesn't even respect me. The others asked their boss, are you okay? He answered, what could possibly happen to me? I'm just tired, I want to sit a bit longer. It's not like my legs went weak from fear. You five aren't you always bragging every day, saying you've got some secret ultimate move? Well, today's your turn to show it off. Go follow that guy, and kill him in the most humiliating way possible. Those guys swore. Guaranteed. You'll love what he looks like when he dies. A while later, they stood on the roof tiles, watching. They said they'd followed long enough, do it here. But Ron just kept walking slowly, unfazed, not realizing danger was closing in. Yen Gui spoke up, my fog will cover us. No one will come interfere. Second bro watched every detail and ordered, move. Another voice spoke up, stop following me. All around the bones, only echoing voices could be heard. This brat wants to play hide and seek. Huh? The snake demon's talent seal is ancient serpent bloodline. Watch out for his snake venom. It's fine. His seal power is so weak, the poison won't be strong. Even if he bites, it'll only hurt for a bit. Second bro ordered, we split up. Force that brat out into the open. Suddenly a voice cried out, Yen Gui. Yen Gui stumbled out, groaning. It hurts. Help me. That damn snake bit my stomach. It hurts like crazy. Like venom from the bites on his belly spread rapidly all around. That venom-filled belly suddenly exploded like a mine. Poison gas spread fast, blanketing the whole area. Everyone nearby was hit by the toxic fumes, screaming miserably. My eyes. This smoke is poisonous. Inside that toxic haze, Ron's figure flickered in and out with painful groans. My eyes. It burns. He shut his eyes tight, thinking through that disgusting move. I'm using you guys to test how to use this talent. Cell. Channel soul power into the eyes. And even in darkness, you can see everything clearly. If seal power gathers in both arms, you can form snake shapes and attack through the poisonous mist. Second bro turned and asked, what's going on? What happened to fourth and fifth? An answer echoed back. This poison smoke stings so bad. Ron thought, compared to my last life, the ancient serpent bloodline I have now gives me way more room to maneuver, especially tactically. Second bro furiously swung the axe in his hand, sending a powerful gust into the smoke. The mist began to fade. Ron stood there, watching with an icy face. He replied, "You ambushed those 3 useless burdens. Now your snake tails raised to the sky, huh? Without poison smoke. You're nothing in front of me." The one-eyed thug outside chimed in with venom. "Second bro's mad now, you're finished." Second bro raised both axes high, preparing his attack. He stood there, trying to look cool, swinging the axe in his right hand, then switching poses to swing the left one. The one-eyed thug outside shouted cheers like crazy. Ron watched calmly, eyes full of contempt. After the showy swings, second bro finally decided to strike. Ron rushed straight into him like that. Blood splattered everywhere. The one-eyed thug went pale as a ghost, completely panicked. He dropped to his knees, begging, "I surrender. Don't silence me." Ron said, "Give me a reason." The one-eyed thug continued, "From the start, I didn't want to hurt you. It was that second seal genius, the blonde guy. I didn't dare disobey his orders." Ron, smug and stone-cold, said, "Not enough." The thug panicked and blurted, "Then how about this? I'll take you to his secret cave. There's definitely precious treasure hidden inside." But, Ron thought to himself, Corpse Mountain, Blood Sea's layers increased a bit again. I might be able to reach second seal and awaken my authority. If I remember right, the ancient serpent bloodline's authority is called snake shedding. It needs a rare treasure as an offering, sacrificed to myself, so I can molt and evolve. Might as well check that cave. Maybe there's something in there I can actually use. The one-eyed thug said, "We're almost there, up ahead. The blonde guy's treasure is hidden in the cave, behind the waterfall. Just go straight in, sir." Ron grew suspicious and grabbed him by the throat. He used the one-eyed thug as a shield, blocking the arrows guarding that item. The arrows pierced straight into the thug. Ron coldly said, "Thanks." A small, dazzling item lay inside the cave. Human skeletons were scattered all over the ground. A voice reported, "Leader, the evil howler demon caused chaos at rookie training ground number 2, then got scared off by a snake demon serf there." Then a question rang out. "A mere serf, huh?" A girl with a bright smile said happily, "Interesting. She was the leader of the Broken Bone Reavers of Yuan Mountain." Ron picked up the lamb and muttered, "A cave this big, and you only hid a tiny lamb?" He opened it and found another small pouch inside. A voice echoed, "Put it down for me." The blonde guy dashed out like lightning. He snatched the pouch in a swipe. He shouted, "You dare touch my things?" The blonde guy lifted his leg high to attack, but bad luck, Ron caught it. He couldn't strike and he got hurt too. He groaned, "My leg." The blonde guy suddenly realized, why does this guy feel like a completely different person than before? No wonder those 5 couldn't handle him. I can't face him head on here, it's too cramped, and this leg wound will take a few minutes to recover. Retreat first. He shot out of the waterfall immediately. The blonde guy spread his wings wide and flew off, his eyes burning with resentment. Ron stood under the waterfall, looking out, muttering, "Another bird-type demon." He turned his face away and walked off calmly, then suddenly stopped as he remembered something. Images of bird-type demons flashed in his mind. Ron straightened up, briefly pondering it. He lightly pivoted his foot, like he was about to do something. Then he burst out of the cave like a whirlwind. But Groon's eyes brimmed with resentment as he shouted, "Bird-type demons are the worst." Not long after, the blonde guy turned around and saw Ron right behind him already. Groon stretched out his long arm and grabbed the blonde guy by the throat. He yanked him down, ripping out long feathers from all over. Ron attacked the blonde guy brutally and relentlessly. The fight was fierce, playing out high in the air. The blonde guy launched a heavy counterattack, sending Ron crashing down. Ron fell, skimming the waves with savage momentum. His arm seemed stuck tight to the water, unable to move. From above, the blonde guy said, "Didn't think you'd fall into this honey acid lake. You're seriously unlucky." Suddenly something below the surface struggled upward. Savage honeybugs, bloodthirsty for ages beneath the riverbed, immediately swarmed Ron. The blonde guy smugly said, "These honeybugs in Yuan Mountain are both countless and thirsty for blood. I'm gonna savor this slowly, watching you get torn apart piece by piece, until they gnaw your flesh down to bare bones." Just the honey acid from Jikit was enough to form this deadly lake. If Yuan Mountain were still alive, our demon clan would have completely conquered the human race by now. Down below, Ron tore into the honeybugs with ease. They insisted on attacking, trying to suck his blood no matter what. But with Ron's natural strength, the honeybugs were instantly split in two. The blonde guy watched and cried out in surprise, "So what if you've got strength? So what? You only trained it by hauling manure, that's all. These Yuan Mountain honeybugs, even if you kill them until you're old, you'll never finish them." Ron was furious. He raised his hand, preparing a counterattack. His hand transformed into long venomous snakes, striking the honeybugs one by one. His attacks were savage and intense. Yet the blonde guy still mocked that rotten farmer. "At your speed, you can't even haul manure in time, while it's still hot." Snakes from the ground tore into the honeybugs, blood spraying everywhere. The blonde guy sneered, "Too slow, way too slow, you filthy farmer. These worms can at most loosen up the soil. That's all they're good for. Just wait until you're worn down to death, you damn farmer." After a while, those honeybugs were piled together in the middle of the whirlpool. But Ron still didn't stop. His assault kept going without pause. They were shredded so badly that each bug flew into the air and crashed back into the lake. Ron's eyes grew colder and more terrifying by the second. His attack with those snakehead forms became even more frightening. Ron's technique shot straight toward the blonde guy, and he thought, why is his speed getting faster and faster? A moment later, almost all the honeybugs had been wiped out. Ron thought to himself, even though killing many at once was efficient, they were all too weak. "It only pushed me up to second seal," he said. "But it's enough to deal with that annoying rotten bird. Next time you blink, I'll cut your skull clean off." Hong Fat screamed in panic, "Are you insane? Are you talking nonsense?" The moment he finished speaking, Ron charged like lightning right in front of him. Too fast, he shouted. Hong Fat quickly raised his bow to counterattack. "Damn it, don't underestimate me. This is the demon arrow of Lord 2. Back then, my sister and I found it while living by the seaside. Maybe this was fate itself, saving it for this moment." The arrow, filled with violent power, shot straight toward Ron. Hong Fat froze at what happened next. The arrowhead pierced straight into Ron's abdomen. Blinding light burst from it as Hong Fat muttered in confusion, What is going on?" But after taking that hit, Ron fell straight down, crashing toward the lake at terrifying speed, then slowly sinking without any resistance. Hong Fat mutter in shock. What just happened? Did the thunder arrow finish him? Arya rushed over shouting, "Little brother, are you okay?" She followed the fallen feathers to find him. "I thought something happened to you." Hong Fat replied, "I'm fine, sister. I just dealt with a thief. He tried to steal our things." He stared fixedly at the small pouch in his hand. Hong Fat said, "This is to heal your eyes, sister. Even if it costs my life, I must protect it." Beneath the water, countless thoughts surfaced in Ron's mind. The thunder arrow of 2 ended up in his hands after all. But I remember, this arrow shouldn't cause bodily mutation. He frowned, thinking silently. Why is this body suddenly reacting like this? Miasma quickly enveloped Ron's entire body. Within his eyes, a clear figure-8 symbol appeared. The figure-8 was formed by the coiling miasma serpent. Ron's face went pale as he murmured, "So that's it. Those lights earlier were still vividly clear," he said, being lured by a rare sacrifice like the thunder arrow. The body's instinctive greed was enough to trigger the authority automatically. What a greedy, venomous snake. The miasma serpent curled into a massive sphere-like shape, slowly shedding as restraints began to loosen. Then it suddenly exploded, leaving its form no longer intact. On the shore, Hong Fat said there are no more bubbles. No, that guy must be dead. He sighed in relief, finally able to relax. Suddenly, lightning flashed across the sky, plunging everything into gloom. Heavy raindrops began crashing down. The rain intensified along with fierce winds. Thunder roared more and more violently overhead, darkening the sky. Hong Fat seemed to realize something, and muttered, "Savage dark thunder." Beneath the lake, something began to stir violently. A bolt of lightning surged upward, turning the lake surface bright purple. The shockwave sent waves exploding everywhere. Arya suddenly spoke up. "In that lightning just now, something jumped out." He asked what, where. With hollow eyes, she pointed forward, saying, "There, lightning struck the monument in the middle of the lake." The water trembled violently.
Hoang phát stam in disbelief.
No way. Ron stood tall, wrapped in lightning. An utterly terrifying sight, radiating dread. Hong Fat quickly raised his arm to shield Arya. The sky above was completely darkened, ripped apart by violent lightning. Ron appeared in an extremely ferocious form, threatening coldly, "I've kept you waiting long enough." Then he added calmly, "This is my fault." Hearing that, Hong Fat immediately charged forward, shouting, "You filthy farmer, don't get cocky." Ron lightly slipped past. As Hong Fat's attacks brushed past like nothing, enraged, he lunged again, yelling, "How dare you toy with me?" A bolt of lightning pierced through,
Instanti severing Hoang phát swing.
Ron thought, "This target alone isn't enough. I can't fully test my current power." With that thought, he hurled him hard into the lake. Arya watched everything from the shore in panic. With her small body, she jumped straight into the lake. Hong Fat bitterly thought, "Damn it. If only I were a bit stronger. After killing me, this guy definitely won't spare my sister." After a brief pause, he suddenly roared and stood up, his body tightly honed. Ron stood there calmly, staring at him, looking slightly surprised. Hong Fat activated the Thunder Rock armament, authority and annihilating Skyfeather. Arya cried out joyfully, "Little bro, you finally awakened your authority. I've always been a burden like this. I can't let you fight alone anymore. I won't hold you back again." After saying that, she unleashed all her strength to activate her skill, demonic eye domination, beast summoning. Hong Fat and Arya stared at Ron with determination to kill. The two skills combined, forming a spectacular magic formation. Ron stood there calmly, observing. He slowly lowered his head, preparing a devastating strike. Ron's movements made the lake surface churn violently. The two attacks clashed in extreme tension. He spun, expertly guiding the lightning. With flawless control, the thunderbolt instantly dealt direct damage to Hong Fat. A fierce, evenly matched battle erupted. Arya's beast skill seized the chance to strike from behind, but the miasma serpent saw through it and countered. Two savage powers collided, filling the sky with lightning. Ron landed swiftly, preparing another attack. Hong Fat went berserk and charged, shouting, "This is the opening." A sharp vortex shot forward. Ron thought briefly, using insect corpses as cover for a sneak attack. Not bad thinking. But with Ron's sharp senses, that trick meant nothing. Hong Fat refused to give up. Circulating power to invoke demonic eye domination, enhanced vision. He continued, preparing another strike. Enhanced annihilating Skyfeather. Hong Fat thought silently. His seal power is rapidly contracting. Is he going full defense? He shouted, "You won't block this strike." Ron replied, worthy of praise, "Kid, you really are a one-hit finisher. So I'll have to." He gathered all his strength and declared, "I'll just erase you completely." Ron's overwhelming power quickly crushed Hong Fat. He fell onto the lake, stammering weakly, "Take it and run." Arya cried out, "How could I leave you behind, brother?" Hong Fat reached out his arm, clutching the item pouch tightly. Ron stepped forward coldly, his hand still gripping Hong Fat's item. Hong Fat cried miserably, "Give it back, please give it back." His arm finally went limp. The items scattered across the lake. He said, "My sister's eye condition. Depends on using those gouged out eyes to avoid blindness, Ron replied. That's a problem. Healing magic alone could solve. Yet countless innocents lost their eyes because of it.
Hoang phát Asger.
But good healers are rarer than human eyes. Arya begged, we don't need them anymore. We don't need anything. If you want it all, take it. Just please have mercy and spare us. Ron questioned sternly, then let me ask you this. A voice replied. Go ahead, Ron asked coldly. When those people had their eyes gouged out, did they ever beg you for mercy? Arya froze at the question, stammering, what? Ron ordered harshly, answer me yes or no. Arya hugged Hong Fat tightly, eyes full of turmoil, lost in thought. She finally replied softly, I forgot. Ron thought maybe I overestimated them. Even now, the demon race hasn't changed in essence despite civilization and emotion. They simply went from harming others to harming for personal gain, treating lives like weeds, seeing slaughter as something natural. The thunder form gained this time was his greatest harvest so far. But using this form consumes a massive amount of seal power. For now, he couldn't use it freely. Genius reported respectfully. Leader, there are bodies here, please take a look. Hako also added. I feel these siblings being killed might not be unrelated to the sudden change in the sky. Just now, Rhea spoke up. 2 heads were struck down instantly by lightning. Such fast and brutal methods. It seems an uninvited guest has appeared in my territory. And at the same time, deep within the forest, thick white mist drifted eerily, creating a hazy illusion. She said, from now on, if any talented recruit dies mysteriously, I will personally investigate. Aaron walked slowly through the forest, with a farming shovel slung over his shoulder. Rhea noticed him and stopped to observe carefully. She questioned sharply, who are you, what are you doing? He replied gently, reporting to the leader, I'm looking for some wild fruits to plant. Rhea suddenly remembered and said, oh right, so you're that farm slave. I heard you scared off the evil roaring demon. But there's something more important now. I've been craving fruit tarts lately. You'd better find some good fruit. She shoved Ron to the ground, placing 1 foot lightly on him. Rhea said softly, otherwise, I'll just turn you into tonight's delicacy. Ron slowly followed the group ahead in secret, calculating silently as he walked. This level of contact is enough to probe her seal power. Her seal power is beyond 4th seal and extremely dense. Clearly a defense specialist, same type as Fan, most likely hiding extraordinary strength. Right now I can be considered a demon with superior speed and a major advantage in raw power. But against defense types I lack effective attacks to break through. What a pity if I could kill that 4th seal demon. The corpse mountain blood sea would skyrocket in power. And not just in type advantage. The gap in strength between us is simply too vast. Worse, her weakness is still unknown. The odds are extremely slim. But how could I suppress this craving toward her? The hunt begins now. Elsewhere, Zia was reading while researching. Not this one. The title. Red Encyclopedia of Talent Seals. 3rd Demon King campaign compiled by Agricola. She flipped a page, then waved it aside. Not this one either. She turned to another page. Corpse Mountain Blood Sea. Each life killed grants a slight increase in power. The stronger the target, the greater the enhancement. She paused, thinking deeply. Annoyed, she put her feet on the desk, still nodded. Deep in the forest, on a mountain cliff, Ron climbed along the rock face, thinking, a hunt requires patience. I need a plan before she grows suspicious, and without being noticed, raise my strength to a level where a sneak attack can kill in 1 blow. A caravan passed by as monsters chatted. Slow down a bit. If the leader finds out about this deal, we're dead for sure. Another quickly reassured them, don't worry. This place is hidden, the leader won't notice. Suddenly, a fly hovered in midair, and was snapped up by a long tongue. A frog on the water effortlessly devoured it. Ron slowly emerged behind the frog. recalling the conversation he just heard. Indeed, very hidden. I can safely use you all to raise my corpse mountain. Blood sea. Inside a cave. A demon stood guard at the entrance. Seeing Ron approach, he shouted, "Stop, where did this mutt come from? Scram, without a black market token, you're not allowed in. Get lost." Moments later, Ron walked slowly inside, calmly letting go, dropping the guard's corpse to the ground. Noises echoed throughout the market. "You finally passed the test. And got the token. Yeah, what a hassle. So nostalgic. The old Yuan Mountain territory. You could buy live humans anytime. Anywhere, now everything's underground. Even byproducts are banned." Ron glanced at another stall. A demon was enthusiastically pitching an item. Anshi steel, top-tier material. Weapons forged from it. Can resonate with the user's seal power. Boosting sword techniques several times over. No, dozens of times. A customer commented while examining it, "I've heard of Anshi steel weapons. But it's just a rumor. No blacksmith actually knows how to forge it. What's the point of buying it?" A crocodile boss pitched his own goods. Seal power tonic brewed from hearts. Guaranteed two-legged creatures. Not four-legged ones. Others crowded around excitedly. "Sounds good. Two-legged animals, huh? If the leader finds out about this contraband, you'll get skinned 10 times. Still, this trip wasn't wasted. Who knows why the leader went crazy 2 years ago, banning everything. All trade involving humans and slaves. Humans, right? Yeah, something about conserving resources. I think the leader's lost her mind." Watching them chatter, Ron thought, such abnormal behavior likely means she's planning something big. A bull monster grinned wickedly and shouted, folks, today we've got fresh stock, first come first served. The rest are blind anyway, so prices are fair." Wolves nearby eyed the humans and scoffed, then criticized, "Selling defective goods to scam us. I heard a pair of siblings have been gouging eyes. This crooked merchant probably made a fortune off them first." The bull laughed nervously, clasping his hands. "Easy, everyone. Easy now. This batch will definitely be sold at fair prices." Ron suddenly stepped forward and said, "I want them all." The bull turned around with a sneer. "You got money, poor trash." Ron calmly pulled out a talisman. A thunder talisman in exchange for them. "If you think it's not worth it, then forget I said anything." The bull's eyes widened in shock.
A thunder talisman, come closer.
"You mean the secret weapon of that blonde brat, don't you? Bring them outside. Let's discuss details with this young man." The bull's partner ordered the slaves. "Hey, all of you, come here." Etienne panicked and dropped his bundle. The boy fumbled to pick it up amid shouting, "Run, run." The monster yanked the rope, sending him sprawling. The monster glanced at the group with regret. "I wanted to save some meat for myself to eat later." After the group left, the bull chuckled and said to Ron, "You're afraid that blonde guy will notice the treasure you stole, so you hurried to deal with it. Then you came to the right person." Ron admitted frankly, "That's right. I'm in a hurry." The bull grinned slyly and clapped his hands. The door slammed shut instantly, cutting the cave off from the outside world. Sealed in silence. Only firelight flickered in the dark. Suddenly, a massive force slammed into the bull, making him scream in terror. "Nu, nu, 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 nu." The blow hit before he could react, sending him rolling in agony. After a moment, silence returned, leaving only blood splattered everywhere. Ron slowly opened the door and walked forward coldly without looking back. Behind him, monster corpses littered the ground. Elsewhere, the bull's partner was still leading the group away, snapping irritably, "Keep moving. Don't make a sound. Or else I'll rip out your tongues and roast them." Suddenly, Ron appeared behind him and finished him with a single move. Ron looked at his blood-soaked hand. The current me is no longer completely helpless, but the counter completed one full cycle.
Salah.
Among the group, tears welled up as she stared at the scene before her. She panicked at the corpse of the monster. She looked around in terror at the demons among demons. Ron gazed at her silently. Fortunately, the counter increased by 1 tier again. The activation rate of Happy Day is extremely low. Happy Day Authority failed to activate. The authority has rare side effects and cannot be consciously controlled. Each time the counter completes a cycle, the chance of automatic activation increases. Ron silently watched Sulla and Ation among the slaves. He handed the bundle back to the boy. Your things. Ation hugged it joyfully. That's right, that's right. Ron glanced at the group behind and ordered, everyone follow me. Sulla hesitated and offered the rope. Do you want to hold this, sir? Ron casually flicked the rope away. I don't like seeing people tied up. Soon, rows of wooden figures were placed on a platform. The former slaves saw light again. They thanked Ron profusely. We can see again. I can see. Great benefactor. Thank you so much. Who would have thought there are good people among demons? Watch your mouth when speaking to our benefactor. If you don't know how to talk, stay quiet. This idiot was scared stiff by those blonde and pink-haired demons earlier, so he's rambling. Please forgive him, benefactor. Please forgive him. While healing Ation's eyes, Ron snapped, quiet down. The boy clasped his hands sincerely. Thank you truly for finding my things and healing our eyes. Sulla behind hesitated and said softly, why did you save us from the demons? You're clearly also. Ron cut her off. Because I wanted to. She stared in disbelief. What? Ron shot Sulla a sharp glare. Can't you see I'm busy? Children should be quiet. Ron squatted down, sighing as he calculated. Now I need to think how to get you all out. Silence enveloped the area. No one spoke, all eyes on him. Sulla felt awkward seeing everyone fall silent, felt really uncomfortable. Suddenly she had a bright idea. Her voice echoed through the space. How about I tell a joke? There's a tavern in NRA. To celebrate the Harvest Festival, they halved the price of the second drink. So someone heard and went there, found the bartender and said, I want a second drink. The other 3 sweated awkwardly at her. Sulla froze seeing their reactions. Then Ron suddenly laughed, leaving everyone stunned. The long-haired man forced a laugh. So he likes lame jokes. The bald man felt awkward too. Demons really have weird humor. Sulla cried and ran toward Ron. You're the only one who understands me. Suddenly, a snake slithered up and wrapped around her leg. Sulla panicked, staring at the snake coiling tighter. The others weren't spared either. The bald man looked at Ron in disbelief. Benefactor. Ron smiled coldly, muttering, truly naive. Demons, no matter the disguise, always hide their cruelty. They can never be trusted. Now taste the most painful death. This is the price of blind trust. Remember this lesson well in the future. Everyone except Sulla collapsed to the ground. Ron stared at the girl still resisting. What are you resisting? Unwilling to die by poison. Tears filled Sulla's eyes, but she answered firmly. You don't want to kill us. You just want to knock us out with poison. That's all. Ron fell silent after hearing that. Sulla continued. Who reminds the dead to remember lessons anyway. You just want us to never lower our guard against demons again. Ron asked instead. Then why are you so sure of that? She shouted with all her strength, choking the snake. Because you're a good demon, so I trust you. Ron pressed her further. Then what do you think now? Sulla's eyes sparkled as she looked at Ron. I want to follow you from now on. Ron rejected her outright. I don't need deadweight. She confidently extended her hand. I'm a swordsmith. I definitely won't hold you back. My name is Sulla. And you are? Ron looked at her suspiciously. Are you Alexius's granddaughter? Sulla admitted honestly, yes. You know my grandfather. Ron slowly recalled the past. We go way back. When I met him, I was 17 or 18. When you were little, I even held you once. Ron began recalling a certain house. Alexius frowned and said sternly, I don't forge swords for 2 kinds of people. Those who kill their own kin, and those who slaughter innocents. And you reek of blood from both kin. and innocent lives. Even after so many years, my talent seal can still sense it. Go back to wherever you came from. Forgive me, my small shop cannot receive you, Ron quickly explained. Priestess Jia told me to find you. She said you're the best swordsmith, and that you're forging an unprecedented greatsword. I want it. Alexius paused at that. Sister Jia of the Compassion sect. You associate with her. He studied Ron with probing eyes. Alexius calmly accepted. She is a good person. If she trusts you, then you can't be completely evil. The debt I owe her, I'll repay with my strongest sword. And Ron handed him a statue. This is the statue of compassion Dia gave me. I want it to be the sword's guardian charm. When can I come pick up the sword? Alexius replied calmly, be patient, young man. A good sword isn't forged in just a few days. If you're worried, you may check anytime. Oh right, my daughter-in-law is about to give birth. I need to find a literate man to write blessings for the child. Sometime later, on a snowstorm-filled day, Ron visited Alexius's home and witnessed the ruined devastation. Alexius was holding a trembling infant and a sword, standing before Ron, who rushed up and asked, Alexius, where's my sword? I shut tight, Alexius replied, by the door, take it yourself. Ron looked in confusion at the name engraved. Salah. Alexius explained, it's my granddaughter's name, and also this sword's name. Ron glanced at him. Where are her parents? Alexius said sadly, all dead. A pack of beasts calling themselves demons came out of nowhere. They stormed the village, killing anything they saw. Ron's eyes darkened. So they're called demons? Alexius asked in return. You've met them too, haven't you? Priestess Jia and the one you loved. They were killed by them too, right? Ron's eyes filled with deep hatred. Yes, they all died because of the demons. This child never even received blessings at birth. Ron gently held Sulla in his arms and whispered to her, I bless you. May your life suffer less pain. May your name follow me into endless slaughter. Alexius continued, asking Ron, that statue of compassion. You probably don't need compassion anymore, do you? Ron said nothing, silently dragging the sword away. He questioned himself about compassion, then stabbed the sword firmly into the ground, thinking to himself, healing those already harmed is nothing but patchwork. Self-deception preached by the compassion sect. What I want is to strike before evil raises its blade. He charged straight at the demons, cutting them down, killing until corpses pile into mountains, until blood flows like rivers, until every last one is dead, only then return to reality. Sulla exclaimed in shock, so your Uncle Ron. Grandpa always told me stories about you. But why do you look like a demon now? And even much younger than I imagined. You don't look like someone in their 30s at all. Ron replied calmly, it's a long story. Just think of it as good maintenance. So why did those demons drag you all the way here, kid? Sulla let out a weary sigh. It's a long story, honestly. Anyway, before I forge the strongest demon-slaying holy sword, I'm not going back to my grandpa's place. He looked at the little girl, deep in thought. Ron casually encouraged her. Then keep at it. Sulla's eyes lit up. Really? You really think I can do it too, Uncle? Calmly, he picked up a pen. He began writing lines of words on the paper. Having something you truly want to do from the bottom of your heart. That's a really good thing, honestly admirable. When he finished, he pressed a stone down on top of the paper. I am the vampire knight who saved you from the snake demon's hands. After you wake up, put on the hides of these demons and head straight east. You'll be able to reach the border of the kingdom of Elivia. Etienne and the two men were still asleep on the grass. Suddenly, the long-haired man woke everyone up. Everyone, wake up. Look at this note. It's the legendary vampire knight, the disciple of the madman who slayed Magron. All three of them quickly put on the hides he left behind. Etienne stared off into the distance. Was it really him? Elsewhere, Ron slammed the supplies down hard. Wiping sweat, he asked Sulla, all taken care of? Those three brought back tongs and some other tools. What about you? How far have you gotten? She grinned smugly and pointed at the stand in front of her. Making a simple sword-casting base like this is easy. It's just a shame. The only mine with top-tier sword materials. The demons took over the Persian steel. These days it's seriously hard to get. I've got the skill but nowhere to show it off. Without a word, Ron set a pile of steel in front of her. Then he slowly explained, I picked it up earlier, just on the side. Looks like our luck isn't bad.
Sala clapped. Emas.
Uncle, you're insane. Ron asked curiously, you know how to forge Persian steel? Excited, she hugged the pile of steel tight. Of course. Don't underestimate me. I'm the third person in the world who knows how to forge Persian steel. Hearing that, he was even more shocked. Third? You, your grandpa, and who else? Ron's gaze darkened when Sala blurted it out. The demon king of this era. Agricola. The one they call the Demon King. The strongest in history. He looked down on forging swords for other demons. He only made 2 blades for himself. Counting both of his swords. Minus the one that got destroyed. And yours too. There are only 6 weapons left in the world, made from Persian steel. Who would have thought? The new generation of demons would hide a threat like that. I have to get stronger fast. Where are you going? Ron turned away coldly and replied, continuing my hunt. Kid. At Veen Sun territory, in the leader's private hot spring. A demon reported the news. Leader. No one survived in that underground black market. Everyone was slaughtered. Ria's scornful voice rang out. Demons really can't shake their filthy nature. From now on, your patrols tighten up. Crack down harder on all trade with humans. The demon replied respectfully, yes, I understand. She kept issuing orders. And those bodies, use them, hang them in the square, so everyone can see. What happens when you defy my commands? The demon asked curiously, then how do we find the culprit now? Ria immediately waved him off. That's not something you should be thinking about. Get lost and do your job. And tell the mess hall and the serfs. If tomorrow's breakfast is still awful, they don't need to keep living either. After that, she sank back into the warm water again. Ria looked gloomy, thinking she really wanted some high-quality sugar. Somewhere else, outside a tent, demons' chatter echoed loudly. Things haven't been peaceful around here lately. Best to travel together. Could it be bandits? Demons with 3 or 4 seals from some unclaimed lands, sneaking in to cause trouble? Are you stupid? A stranger with 3 or 4 seals. You think the leader wouldn't notice? What if there's a way to only show 1 seal? Forcefully altering the seal display. That's a super seal level technique to suppress seal power. But what the hell? Idiot, are you saying there's a super seal expert hiding right next to us or what? Ron, hearing that, quietly lowered his own power even further. He pondered in silence. The demons here are getting wary now. Pretending to be a weak 1 seal to fish for them should be better for stacking layers than attacking head-on. A crowd of demons surrounded a corpse, buzzing. Another genius is dead again. Is this today's body? He was about to reach 3 seals, not someone that blonde guy and his sister could ever compare to. This is weird as hell. Every year a few geniuses die in the strangest ways. Good thing I'm weak. Ron secretly glanced at the corpse. This one wasn't killed by me. And they also said, even before this, some talented demons had been mysteriously murdered. So besides me, there's another hunter here? Suddenly his footsteps stopped. Ron stared in one direction, his eyes turning dark. In a desolate village, he seemed to sense someone else's presence. He locked onto a torn, broken wall in the distance. Ron spoke coolly. I can't imagine someone tailing a mere serf, but it's probably not to steal rice farming tricks, right? He slowly walked toward the mysterious figure. That person suddenly leapt and flew straight at him. Ron dodged the strike with ease. In the next instant, he fired a punch right back at his opponent. But his blow barely even moved the guy at all. Ron clicked his tongue. What insane defense. He quickly retreated. He stared down the mysterious attacker standing before him. After a brief pause, Ron kicked the pillar beside him, snapping it in half, collapsed, and the roof started caving in. The mysterious figure raised a hand to hold it up, and Ron seized the opening, charging straight in to attack. Without hesitation, the figure grinned and mocked him.
Stubborn brat.
You got taught a lesson and you still want to rush me? Looks like I overestimated you. Suddenly, the attacker's arm that grabbed Ron burst with an astonishing force. The attacker panicked at Ron's strength, gritting their teeth to endure that terrifying power. The pressure made the air around them shake violently. The ground exploded, rocks blasting outward from Ron. While backing off, he thought. In an instant, he boosted the seal force density across his body. He blocked it. The two remained locked in a deadlock. A cloth from above floated down slowly in front of Ron. Ron vanished in an instant before the attacker's eyes. The figure finally revealed themselves. It was Jia. She silently watched where Ron disappeared. Forget it. Don't chase him. With his speed, if he wants to run, I can't catch him either. She smiled with interest and said, a dangerous guy like that only showing one seal. If I get the chance to catch him, should I cut off his head or make him a pawn? As the day began to fade into evening, Ron headed back to the cave where Sala was hiding, replaying it in his mind, just as expected. Right now, I can only do minor damage to her, and besides, against her, Sala's Persian steel sword will take months to fully forge. Looks like I need a way to shed into a new form, enough raw destructive power to finally chew through that tough bone. Suddenly, thick smoke swirled around Ron. He tried to wave away the smoke drifting in front of him. Startled, he shouted, Sala, you didn't make a smoke vent. Sala scratched her head with an awkward grin. I got Persian steel and got too excited, I forgot. Oh no, it's overheating. She used an iron rod to lift the glowing sword out. Sweat streamed down Sala's face. She kept dunking it into cold water. A rapid hiss filled the air. Ron asked curiously, is that sword the one you're making for me? Wiping sweat, she grinned brightly. Yep, since your strength isn't that high right now, I made it a half-sword size instead. The balance is insanely good. The 7th and TUC Kwang weapon of the modern era. My greatest masterpiece so far. A voice rang out. Lord Ron. Please witness it. Ron praised her. Good job. Sula, but it's not completely right, Ron asked. Where's the hand guard and the pommel? She said she still didn't have the right materials. Ron wrapped cloth around the sword to make a grip. It's fine, this is enough for now. He asked again, have you named it yet? Sula replied, I'm not really good at naming things. The sword you used before was named Sula, so let's call this one Little Sula. Ron couldn't even argue with that. Little Sula. In Ron's hand, the sword felt incredibly solid. Its aura was overwhelmingly powerful. No wonder it's an NTUC Kwang sword. This body is itching to use it as a sacrifice and absorb it, to begin the shedding. But Ron said, now's not the time. I have to wait until it's fully complete. Only then can I shed and evolve into a new form, absolutely unstoppable. Sula smiled happily and said, I'll keep working hard. Innocently, Sula urged him, can you use heavenly pillar sword art? Second form now? I really want to see the sword I forged unleashed, a sword art like the legendary falling star pillar, the one from your stories. Ron said gently, in these mountains there's nowhere high enough. Heavenly pillar sword art. Second form can't release its full power here. Early the next morning, Sula was still fast asleep. The smell of food drifted over to her. It smells so good. Sula? She saw an incredibly delicious pastry on the table. She beamed. This is awesome. You can make this too? Ron said. When I taught at the Royal Academy, one student's parents used to bring it for me. Ron placed a fragrant slice of orange on the pastry. When they saw it, everyone was stunned. Okay, you go in first. We have to go downstairs to fetch wine for the leader. Inside, a girl lounged calmly on a chair. Ron saw that and said nothing, not even sparing her a glance. She watched him stroll in, unbothered. Then she noticed the plate in his hands and froze. That plate, awesome. Let me see what the goods look like. She added, "You've got manners. You even delivered yourself to my door." Seeing the fragrant pastry, she smiled wide. "Now that's what I call considerate." Then she shouted at the underlings downstairs, "Bring the wine up here, now." Right after that shout came a decisive slash. She realized it was the Ntuc Kwang's sword. That single cut even tore her cheek open. But Ron said, with the next swing, "You won't be that lucky again." Her eyes hardened as she activated her talent seal. She used the Unbreakable Guard Alliance to block Ron's blade. Ron muttered, "So it's a defensive type talent seal. Let's probe a little more." She said calmly, "That surprised me, but with this level, I'm afraid you won't satisfy me." Ron shot back without hesitation. "Maybe I used too little honey. My bad, I didn't ask your preference first." A nearby voice yelled, "Your tastes." The two of them collided in a fierce brawl. Both sides were competitive to the core, sparks exploding everywhere. One wielded a sword, the other a shield, clashing head-on. She looked at Ron and let out a scornful little laugh. Then she started using transformation techniques. Ron didn't fall behind at all. He used the arm technique IBS Twilight Assault, and in the blink of an eye, a sharp spike shot straight for his eye. But he dodged it cleanly. It only grazed across his face. That made Ron even more resolute. He tightened his grip on the sword. Ron poured his strength into the blade, but she simply blocked it with her shield, effortlessly. The impact was so huge the surrounding earth and stone burst into the air. Seeing that, Ron felt it. She was thinking, he doesn't even know how to resonate seal power with an Ntuc Kwang sword. Just brute force attacking with no brains. He'll run out of seal power soon enough. Brat, Ron thought too. I've got enough seal power for 4 heavy strikes, and 1 heal. And her spear, does she always trade hits with me, then counter? But then Ron came up with something better. He stood a few meters away from her, killing intent pouring off his body. That killing intent was called Hung Loi La Vong, and it rushed straight at her. But she only scoffed and said, "Pathetic tricks." Calmly, she raised her shield to block. She stared at him, wrapping her body's surface in an extra layer of seal power, forming an insulating barrier. This was a technique invented by Faye to counter lightning-type demons. Back then, he taught many human warriors how to use this move. Who knew demons would steal it and learn it too? The might of Faye lay in that talent seal of his. A mere demon thief dares compare to him? She asked, "What are you rushing for?" As soon as she spoke, her left hand transformed, and it stabbed straight through his body, fast. Her left hand pierced through Ron's shoulder, lifting him into the air. She said coldly, "Trying to assassinate me and still getting distracted. Ridiculous." Just then, snakes slithered in from nowhere, catching her off guard for a split second. She only scoffed. "Seriously, this kind of cheap trick?" Ron clenched his sword tight, and Ntuc Kwang resonating with seal power. She crushed a snake's head with contempt. "You're not even ashamed to use that?" She got even angrier. "Fine then. Now we end this. Warm-up's over. The real fight begins." Long, long ago, an evil magma giant serpent tried to swallow the 3 moons, plunging eternal night into endless darkness. To protect the moonlight, a great hero, IBS, stood up with his weapon, but his shield was melted by the serpent, so he fought it barehanded. In the end, the magma giant serpent was crushed to death, and he himself burned to ash, dying a glorious sacrifice. Her expression turned ugly. She pulled her arm back to gather power, Twilight Assault, but her pupils suddenly shrank, and Rhea thought, "No, this is bad. I won't make it in time." As Ron charged in, his whole form cloaked in a deep purple glow, a snake-shaped blade gripped in his hand. She watched closely, calculating fast. The opening came right as that spear transformed, and the entire scene suddenly turned crimson red. In a flash, Ron's shadow drove the blade straight at Rhea. Blood sprayed everywhere. In Ron's sharp eyes, a flicker of surprise flashed. She caught the blade with her teeth. Golden eyes blazing with killing intent stared him down. She muttered, "I finally caught you." From Rhea's left arm, a huge golden hand formed, called Armed Ibios, Almighty Fist, along with TUC Try Thursday. Powerful and decisive, her strikes moved like the wind, smashing straight at him. That sudden punch caught Ron off guard, and his purple full-body form vanished. Not only did it fling him dozens of meters, the ground cracked apart in its wake. Dust billowed everywhere. Even the sword in his hand was knocked away, stabbing straight into the ground. Jia rushed in again, wanting to finish him with another strike. Gran's heart clenched with worry. My organs are wrecked, my ribs are shattered, I have to avoid that punch. Find an opening to heal. Her punch was already right in front of him, and he started hunting for a counter. He locked Jia's left arm tight, making her expression darken. In an annoyed voice, "You're using joint locks to beat soft with hard, huh?" Jia pulled back the golden gauntlet and lightly praised Gran. "You really are an opponent with rich combat experience. Fine, I don't mind playing ground technique with you." After that, the two of them rolled and fought across the ground for several rounds. Behind the hazy cloud of dust, their current fighting posture looked a bit misleading. She was pinned under him and spoke up. "I'm guessing your internal injuries hurt like hell. Someone as tough as you, I've only known one." Her golden eyes turned strangely mesmerizing, her cheeks slightly flushed as she continued, "It'd be such a waste to kill you." Jia suddenly pressed his legs down, trapping Ron in place. He saw his sword, lying not far from her, his shaking hand reaching for it. Jia asked Ron again, "Have you ever considered working for me?" The moment he grabbed the sword, she also let go. Then she said, "Fine. I'll take that as your answer." Golden light flared from Ria's left arm. He moved to block another swing from her, and she slammed him with yet another punch. Her voice turned vicious and cruel, "Die!" And just like that, Ria punched him through layer after layer of rock, carving out rings of falling debris. The shockwave was so violent the whole building cracked apart. That horrifying punch launched Ron higher and higher, even blasting through a thick skull ceiling. Rocks and dirt shot up with him, high enough to overlook the entire island. Far below, through dozens of rock layers, she watched and murmured, "If that Persian steel sword hadn't blocked it, that one punch would have turned you to paste." The dust still hadn't cleared, Ria thought, but with injuries this severe, there's no way you're surviving up there, in midair. Yet Ron calmly used a healing technique, then kicked off a rock to launch himself. The force was so strong it nearly shattered like a plug popping loose. From Ron's view, the scene ahead became clear. A gigantic skull lay in the forest. A purple circle appeared there, forming rapidly. The moment he confirmed she was there, he shot forward fast as lightning. Ron's whole body blazed with a dazzling light, his sword gripped tight and aimed straight at Ria. She froze, her expression changing instantly, unable to believe her eyes. Heavenly Pillar Sword Art, second form? A stream of purple power crashed downward.
Heavenly Pillar Sword Art.
Ria raised her left arm, using her skill to block. She screamed, "You filthy demon! How dare you!" The sharp blade, wrapped in a terrifying surge of power, slammed head-on into Ria's fist. The collision detonated in a massive explosion, and the giant skull shattered even more, blasting open another hole. It was so strong that even the tall building below was flooded with purple light, pouring through the windows, like it could collapse at any moment. The building had been intact at first, but after this clash it was ruined beyond recognition. Below, the ground still crackled, with lingering lightning remnants. A dense haze of smoke hung over everything. Through the blurry dust, Ron still stood there proudly, holding his sword firmly. He watched in silence. Then his eyes suddenly sharpened with caution, brows furrowed as he stared at Dia's faint silhouette. Behind the thick smoke, her whole body glowed with a blue light. Jia spoke. "If I hadn't used this in time, you really would have killed me in a single slash." The lightning burn wounds slowly faded, until they were completely gone. She continued to Ron, "I've been a demon for 2 years now. You're the first one to force me to use this." Ria's body released a huge amount of blue energy.
Talential, Immortal Verbana.
It teleports and absorbs when attacked. Her hair fluttered, and with icy eyes she said, "Filthy demon, you can be proud of yourself now." Meanwhile, Gran tensed up, feeling a knot of pressure in his chest. In his mind, he repeated, "Immortal war banner." The blue light shifted, turning pink. Sharp claws extended from the massive gauntlet as she dashed straight at him. Her voice dripped with killing intent. "Now take your pride and go to hell with it." But Ron suddenly spoke a name, Facey. She was stunned when Ron called her that. Scene shift. Her mind went blank, completely dazed. She lifted the cloth at her neck with her hand, revealing a number, Roman numerals like it symbolized something. The four of them walked forward decisively. As they walked, Morovia said, "Ron and I talked through letters. He agreed to join our group. We've already set a meeting point up ahead." Van Hack, with that huge frame, answered, "The madman who slayed demons, Ron? I thought he was just a character you Southerners made up, a legend to hype up people's courage." A red-haired woman raised a hand to block the sun, then looked toward a mountain and blurted out, "Why is that mountain so round? That's weird." Suddenly, the mountain trembled violently, and then two blazing red eyes slowly appeared, staring straight at the four of them. Then, the mountain stood up, chunks of rock falling off its body. From below, she shouted, "It's the giant demon of Veen's son. That monster used its hands to knead and shape something up top, its mouth opening wide. And then, a small mountain formed above its head." Someone below asked in panic, "Why is the top so sharp?" Then someone tensed up and cried out, "That's Heavenly Pursuit sword art, first form." The guy in iron armor shouted something, but before anyone understood, a powerful beam of light slammed down on the monster, making it howl in pain. The moment that light hit its face, the beast kept vomiting blood. A fresh crimson gash split across its chest. Its legs lost all strength, and the whole body collapsed at once. Below, Lam Tuet used her ultimate skill. A veil of light spread out, shielding all four from outside impact. Outside, dust and smoke filled the air, while blood from the giant demon of Veen's son splattered everywhere. The haze slowly thinned, and its face appeared again, horrific. Blood streamed from its head down its twisted features, and it ground its teeth with a harsh creaking sound. Below, Van Hack raised his shield. Tan's son readied his bow. Morovius gripped his sword, and Lam Tuet prepared to support. From beneath the monster, a blood-soaked figure stepped into view. He looked down and said, "Morovius, these three are the helpers you mentioned in the letter?" He started walking out, speaking as he moved, "Why so hostile? From now on, we're teammates. We'll fight together to subjugate the demon emperor." Hack 2, his face covered in blood, looked at him and replied, "That's all it is. Setting clear boundaries benefits everyone." From afar, he jumped down and walked toward Morovius. As he passed by, he said, "If feelings run too deep, they become burdens or disasters." Just as he brushed past Morovius, Hack 2 noticed a massive suit of armor. He looked up and met Van Hack's eyes. Van Hack said, "I don't agree with that." Hack 2 lowered his gaze and replied, "Whether you agree or not has nothing to do with me." He walked past Van Hack without a care, heading forward alone. Behind him, Morovius said, "Please understand, he's not exactly friendly." Van Hack answered, "It's fine. As long as he stays true to his ideals, that's enough. Later on, I probably won't have any so-called friendship with him either." Cut back to somewhere else. Jia asked, "Is it really you?" She raised her magic, ready for battle, but then she heard his soft answer, "Yeah." Without hesitation, he pressed his face right into Jia's chest, making her flinch for a second, but she still said, "Thank goodness, you're alive too." Jia ujid honchigeo, tears dripping down into his hair. He grumbled, "Why are you crying like this? You're nothing like you used to be." Jia lifted her teary eyes and said, I never thought I'd see my teammate again." Sensing her emotions, he lowered his eyes and whispered, "I'm sorry, if I could have done better back then. You guys wouldn't have." Before he could finish, outside, two lackeys panicked, asking what happened. Vea, leader, those two turned to stone. staring at the couple hugging so tightly. From inside, he ordered the two to leave. This doesn't concern you. Get out. I'm resting to recover my seal power.
Again.
Walking away said, the ground collapsed by several layers in there. That was brutal. He replied. Classic case of holding it in too long. When it's released, it's like a raging flood. From inside, a painful cry rang out. Jen teased, oh, even with my lord's defense, you still got hurt? No wonder you cried like that. Dee shot him a judging glance and said, don't listen to things you shouldn't. A blue light glowed from his hand as he treated Dia. She looked at him and asked, Ron, have you always felt guilty about that year? He stammered, I. Before he could finish, she cut in, stop. I used to hate it when you talked about doing better and all that. Don't nag anymore. Ron replied, am I really that talkative? She said, sometimes you kind of are. Rhea winced and cried out in pain. So he soothed her, hang on a little. You're calling that pain? You broke more than 10 of my bones back then. I'm scared of pain, that's why I wore shoes like that before. Scene shift, Rhea and Ron were eating dessert. He asked curiously, so that means you've been reincarnated as a demon for 2 years now? And Fia too? She softly replied, yeah. Back then, I followed my bloodline sense and found Fia's younger sister. I thought it was just the two of us, and we reincarnated for reasons we still don't understand. Ron stared at Rhea's chest and asked, so, did you change your gender too? Why did you turn into a female demon race? She was about to eat when she heard him say that. She turned around with a confused look. Her face twisted as she said, I was female to begin with. He froze and clamped his mouth shut. He stared blankly and turned over saying, huh, as Rio narrowed her eyes and spoke. So in our previous life we lived together for 2 or 3 years. You always thought I was a man. He imagined that scene, lowered his head, and said helplessly, Moravius and I once had an argument before. He said I basically had no humanity. I always thought it was said in anger. She handed him the bottle. He continued to ask, other than me? Everyone knew, Rio said calmly. Everyone knew. Ron wondered why she did not say it earlier. Rio replied, why did you not ask earlier? I thought you knew. He turned and asked again. To confirm once more. This is not a joke, right? She tossed the bottle back and answered, definitely not. You never heard that phrase. Calling me big sister, Ron replied. I thought Gigi was a military term in the northern people language. You girls are like Sokka. She glanced down and asked, whose kid is this? He replied, Alexius, the swordsmith niece. Forging requires stamina. The child needs rest. After putting her to bed, she glanced at the statues on the barrel. Rio counted 1, 2, 3, 4. One was missing. She suddenly noticed something below. Rio walked over, picked up the remaining statue and said, why do you hate yourself? Ron replied, it is to remind myself to do better next time. He turned around, smiled lightly and said, this time I want to completely eradicate evil and protect all of you too. Hearing this, Rio could not help but laugh. She burst out laughing, haha, that is hilarious. Rio pointed at him and said, just relying on you. Rio eyes sharpened as she said, dealing with those scum. Of course you have to count me in. The two shook hands with a crisp sound. At this moment the barrel was filled with statues. Elsewhere, he said, speaking of which, for the past 2 years you managed the demon race openly, while secretly assassinating new generation geniuses. Right, Rio? She replied, hands on hips. Yes, preventing the outstanding ones from growing and causing disaster. It is also beneficial to me. In this demonic place, aside from the deputy leader I promoted, who else truly listens to me? As long as they have a bit of strength, they think of killing me and taking power. Standing atop the cliff, she spoke confidently, because this year's brutal second-generation demon king does not care about governance. It makes this demon domain harder to manage than others. He chuckled and replied, it seems even the brutal demon king favors mystery. No one ever saw the first generation face, and this second one imitates that exactly. Rio's expression grew tense. Her brows knit slightly as she said, right, there is another small thing bothering me. The demon race lives to kill. Even though now we have evolved emotional capacity like humans, there are times I feel influenced by this body nature. He replied darkly, I feel it too. I can sense it as well. The demon race temperament changes me. Rio looked uncomfortable and asked how so. Ron said coldly, my personality is a bit gentler. Even my methods of destroying enemies lack creativity. Sula stepped out rubbing her eyes and asked, this big sister is... Before he could answer, Rio already pinched her cheeks, clicking her tongue. Wow, such a cute little face. He helplessly patted her head and introduced her as Faye, just like I reincarnated as a demon race. Rio hugged her and asked, why did your grand let you dress so raggedly? She gently lifted Sula and asked, you two pack up. Later we will go to my underground hideout. It is more hidden and more spacious than here. The three of them went down together, lit by strange blue glowing lamps. Scene switches to the underground room. Ron looked at the board and said, you have gathered quite a lot of intel in 2 years, Rio. She agreed. Of course. He carefully examined the items on the board. A small voice said, do not treat me like a doll. The girl timidly asked, is it pretty? Feels inconvenient for forging. Ron helplessly praised it as quite pretty. It has the style of custom Royal Enya attire. Rio smugly said, see, now you know my craftsmanship is legit and worth the price. He replied, I thought you were bluffing before, spending half a day to sew one dress. The girl stared at herself in the mirror. Rio continued saying, I told you conditions were limited. Besides, do not you think it has a strong island vibe? Rio rummaged through the crate, while saying loudly, I think a new hairpin would match. He glanced over and spotted something. Ron picked up a sharp bronze-colored object. He asked Soul Seacall. Rio turned and replied, no, it is just a slightly pretty seashell. This is payment from passing mountain demon merchants. Cows continued investigating. This is an ancient relic. I saw records of it at the Royal Academy. She asked curiously. Ancient meaning the Republic destroyed. Over 300 years ago, Ronald. Yes, Ron looked at the shell. While explaining, scholars tested it. Can allow someone to temporarily enter another person's soul. After entering, you can observe their memories as an outsider. From their perspective. It sounds like spying on secrets. What I mean is maybe we can use this to revisit when we died. I always felt something was off then, but lacked strength to focus. So I want you to enter my soul, to see if some causes back then led to our reincarnation. Rio bowed politely and said no problem. She raised her head and said let's do it. He held it and said you are still reliable. Now we assemble the other half. She replied tiredly, the other half. Ron snapped back. Yes, it must be complete to work. Rio tried to flatter, saying, the other half is lost. Rio waved her hand, ignoring his dark face. It is embarrassing to say. There is a rogue demon band in the wasteland. They have been lurking here for months. They stole a lot of supplies. The other half is probably with them. He asked speechlessly, why not take it back? They should not be your match. She waved dismissively. You know I am not good at tracking. They are hard to catch. He pouted and replied, I mean, did I not teach you ambush and stealth skills before? All these years, no progress at all. She hugged herself, looking innocent, making him annoyed. Whether it was you tracking me before or assassinating demon geniuses. As long as someone is careful, they can spot flaws immediately. She clasped her hands together, pleading. I will study harder, she said. Hearing that he raised his voice. No more later nonsense. Right now on that rock outcrop. 3 goblins are camping. Zoom asked. The Yuanshan domain has not raided humans for 2 years. We are running out of money.
Du Carrier Krat Labelde.
Mountain Noble House. Annual tribute specialties for Yuanshan domain. Weiqing Fort Section 1. Tributing premium sugarcane to Yuanshan domain. Angel Sect. Offering grape wine to Yuanshan domain. Du said he already tasted some very good. A voice came from inside. And there is a kid to meet is meat. Better than nothing. Yuru rubbed Jack's chest and said slowly accumulate. Sooner or later we will have enough strength to retake the unclaimed land and deal with that damned evil dragon. Badra carried crates and said we also grabbed something from some snake nest to offer Yuanshan domain. After he spoke, Go replied, it is locked very tight. Rest a bit first then. Find tools to pry it open. Ba complained it is heavy. They finally placed the 2 crates together. When they walked away, the crates suddenly moved. Inside, Rio said, I told you I had a way. These bastards are like flies smelling shit, saving us the trouble of finding them. He replied, next time do not use metaphors like that. Rio hurriedly said, we have locked onto them. Why not wipe them out in one go? He replied, they may not be strong, but their numbers are spread out. There could be hidden guards. We cannot guarantee escape. Ron added, if someone takes advantage of the chaos and runs off with half of Soul Seacall, all effort would be wasted. One of the 2 outside grew suspicious. After hearing noises, he said, observe first. Figure out where they hide the goods first. Grumbling damned evil dragon. Those horns are too strong. Another replied, human heavy crossbows are amazing. If we can steal some, we can deal with it. Go declared loudly. Better to lure the evil dragon to humans. Go continued boldly. When both sides are badly hurt, we strike and reap the benefits. As he finished, he fell to the ground, and the crate shattered into pieces. Go cursed, what the hell? The other shouted loudly. Rio possesses the ancient bloodline serpent transformation magic. Ron spoke in serpent form differently. Facey, look over there. Following where he pointed from the tent, a monster carried a female demon outside. Jack raised the treasure bag and said, later we will go to Yuanshan Black Market domain. Look at these. Can they trade for weapons or gear? Ava smiled and replied, no need. I heard that black market was destroyed by a ruthless figure. He asked in surprise, really? Suddenly a murderous shadow appeared behind him, startling Jack. Who is there? Ron called out toward the crate where Faye hid. Target confirmed Faye. The others kill them casually. She shattered the crate, then punched straight into a nearby face. Faye quickly shifted to another, grabbing the neck of one beside your group. Anyone tasty, you steal it all, making me eat scraps daily. That really pisses people off. The surrounding subordinates raised weapons, charging her at once. She said sternly again, Sama, the good deed you did, bringing us the bone crusher. You really did great. He bravely handed the treasure bag to Ava, then slowly walked toward him, suddenly kneeling decisively. With tears streaming, he shouted, Hero, save me. I was captured by this female bandit leader. She torments me every night, living worse than death. I did not let him finish. Kicked and split him in two. Ava laughed cruelly. This disgraceful thing I am bored of anyway. Handsome boy, I guess you want this, right? If you can snatch it from my hand, I will let you be my new toy. I guarantee you will forget that big-breasted bitch. Bone crusher hag. At that moment Ron moved like the wind, ripping off the arm holding the treasure bag. The subordinates gaped in horror. How is that possible? The leader in an instant was overpowered by that kid. Faye raised her shield to block the barrage of attacks. He suddenly spoke. Faye, you are still relying on old combat habits subconsciously. Only attacking when attacking. Only defending when defending. Before, when we fought, I noticed your current innate seal can be used for both offense and defense. The seal of this weapon type can change. Advanced techniques are generally applicable. I can share some academy techniques with you. The poison is mixed into my seal power. Do not reject it. Feel how it circulates in your body. Move it along. You can feel the different way seal power flows. Now I will quickly guide you once. Whether you can comprehend it later depends on you. Her eyes suddenly widened, as if receiving an immense power. Faye swung the IBS weapon, releasing the skill Thunder Twilight Resonance. Ron immediately praised, very good. That is it. She smiled in satisfaction. Learning something new feels nice. He held the long green shell. Item acquired. Time to return to the conservative faction. Scene switches to Sula. The girl was asleep. Snoring on the table. Ron warned seriously. This item is precious. After use it will break. So you only have one chance. You must clearly see what happened when I perished with the Demon Emperor. What exactly occurred then? Faye's eyes shone with determination as she reassured. Do not worry. He began casting the spell. A powerful light burst from the prepared item. Her body turned into dark mist, spiraled and was sucked into the shell. Faye completely disappeared. Only dust remained. Ron whispered. Some things are better not seen. She slowly walked on water. In a dark void. What could be something not to see? A gigantic statue suddenly appeared before Faye. His cold face emitted a chilling horror. She frowned and looked up sharply. It was the statue of the god of mercy. Its form looked strange. Kalong. He usually does have a compassionate heart. You can enter here too. He explained. This is within my soul. Of course I can enter. Faye replied. Then fine. Let's begin. Ron hurriedly said. Wait a moment. A rope suddenly wrapped around the statue neck, spinning it violently, creating a path to another space. He stared into it and said to her, Go. Faye without hesitation. She stepped straight into the eerie red gate. An image of Faye in her previous life appeared horrifying. Her body split in half. She calmly stared at it. This is Kalong's memory. After dying that year. Next a sword slowly shattered. A voice suddenly spoke. I was forced to the point of no choice. Faye's brows slightly furrowed. Her eyes carried deep sorrow. The voice continued. Power. Could only use a tragic contingency plan. I had to rely on others' power. To barely survive. Brutally tearing the soul. Reincarnating my soul. Into a talented demon race body. As long as my soul remains immortal. The grand plan can continue. It was still a bit short. Not fully formed yet. Faye suddenly understood. So that is it. Little sister. Kalong and Merovius. All reincarnated due to chaotic power. Of that authority. She turned her head. Looking at the unmoving body of a Saka girl. Saka lay there with eyes closed. As if in an endless sleep. Faye thought the brutal reincarnation cycle was cut, though she did not know the consequences. That eerie voice continued. But it would still allow me to walk the world again. She suddenly cried out in shock. Oh no, the demon emperor reincarnated too. The memory ended here. The ground cracked and Faye fell into a void. Dozens of statues appeared, suspended throughout the air. I must quickly tell Kalong. Where is this place? Still inside his soul. Faye was swallowed by a crimson demonic space, where everything radiated eerie coldness. A seductive voice spoke from behind. Faye, come this way. You can exit from here. Faye turned toward the sound. Ron, is that you speaking? A hazy figure slowly emerged. Yes, it is me. Ron's voice suddenly warned, do not listen to it. Do not look at it, that is not me. She immediately looked up warily. A massive pitch-black entity quietly observed Faye. It opened its dark mouth to devour her, revealing countless jaws inside. Just as it closed in. Thankfully he appeared in time to block and protect. Faye. Ron shouted, what are you spacing out for? Get out now. She quickly escaped from the shell and slammed onto the ground. Faye stammered in terror. What was that thing in your soul? He calmly replied, I will explain later when we have time. For now do not mention it. Did you discover anything? And she recounted everything. Then Ron continued, what happened after that? Faye said, the demon emperor power assimilates the killer. We have seen it before. That power seems granted by someone else. For him to use. He replied, eternal demon king Sumulus. His left hand can seize powers. And his right hand can grant seized powers to others. After a moment of silence, grand anger erupted. He clenched his fist and slammed the table. Gran's eyes burned with endless hatred that demon emperor, as she worriedly said, "We must find and control him. After reincarnation. Otherwise he will become an apocalyptic disaster again." His face darkened. Moreover, the world does not know his abilities. No matter how strong someone is, facing him without intel, they will lose. The paper filled with connections of the demon emperor, Sumulus and other demon kings. Ron suddenly grew urgent. "Write one more thing." Faye asked, "What is it?" He asked, eyes filled with anticipation. "What about Soka?" She scratched her cheek unconsciously, brushing it off casually. "Things were urgent then, I did not notice." "Sula, are you hungry?" Sula replied eagerly, "Yes, I am." Faye smiled just in time. "Let's prepare dinner together." The space seemed to freeze. Ron's back looked sorrowful. "Faye, there is no need to change the subject." He calmly looked at her. "Just tell the truth." Faye's face sank. Her eyes reflected deep sadness. Silent, Faye finally spoke heavily. "How do you want me to say this?" Moravius and Faye happily returned. With fishing spoils. The two approached the flickering campfire. In the dark distance, she suddenly appeared behind them, quickly pulling them back. "Hey, do not go there." He asked why. Faye asked back. "A married man like you cannot feel this atmosphere." Moravius retorted. "Then you should ask my wife. Why she divorced me." Sokka pointed at Ron's face and asked, "Ron, I just noticed the numbers on your eyes. Why did they disappear?" He gently touched her spot and said, "This, when I kill someone I do not want to. The numbers appear. Until I feel happiness again. Then they disappear." Sokka looked up at the starry sky. "So that is how it is. You and Moravius reunited after many years, though we have only been together for months. You must have regained the feeling of having a family again." Faye is straightforward yet very considerate, always thinking of others. "You met for only days and became sworn brothers, close as kin. This girl is very lovely. As long as she is here, there is never a dull day. Right, boss?" Ron spoke softly. "Oh, and you too." His gaze wavered slightly. Looking straight at her, he repeated that line. Back to the present, she glanced sadly at Ron. "Soka may have a different fate from us." His face showed something indescribable. "Is that so?" "It is fine, Faye, it is just a blood debt." Ron touched the map of Sumulus. His fingers dug into it. With such force it seemed to crush everything. The drawing shattered under Ron's grip. He said in a low voice, "Blood debt, then." At the same time, in Rock Ridge Village on Elivia border, a monster spoke. "Unexpected. You came up with such a training method." Saji ran while showing his trained body. Only heavy loads can strengthen the body. As he ran, dragging behind him, a man holding a little girl. Sarah burst into tears. Her father hurriedly comforted, "Do not be afraid, wait for Mom. We will be saved." Saji laughed savagely, "I need to speed up." The man was in extreme pain, dragged even more violently. The girl used her small hands to gently touch her father's face. "Humanity, my first eye awakens to witness your suffering." He stared at Sarah in horror. As he ran excitedly, a force suddenly held the rope tight. Saji angrily looked back. What happened? The girl stood quietly amid the flames, one hand gripping the rope head. The demon minions stood frozen, staring at Sarah. A bizarre voice echoed. "I only regret awakening too late, causing you so much pain. So I must personally grant you death." To express. Tears mixed with blood flowed down the girl's small face. A sincere apology. The Delic Republic. Standing there was the last tyrant, Madison Sumulus. In a space dyed bright red with blood, Sarah stood there, surrounded by countless created monsters. "Why have you fallen like this? I want you to eliminate these mistaken lives, not bring them pain. Yet you take pleasure in it. Wrong upon wrong." The monsters shouted back, "Stop rambling. Go die." Sarah ignored them and raised her hand. "Innate seal, I am guilty. Punishment decree." As she finished, they all turned to dust. In an instant, Only Sarah remained. Who would have thought the battle 5 years ago would end like this, Ron? You are truly unforgettable. I still remember when I assimilated you. I saw what was in your heart. It exposed your heartbeat to me. But it was too late then, for you to know my heart. Otherwise you would understand me. We might have become friends. Ima rushed over, panting, damn it. Those fake demon races, it is my fault for being late. She was stunned by the scene. Sarah stood silently with blood-red eyes. Emma stepped forward, calling, child, I am sorry. If mother had arrived earlier. Sorry. Tears poured like a waterfall. Sarah's face remained unchanged. Suffering passed from one to another. Suddenly Emma's eyes widened in terror. The girl grabbed her sword hand and placed it on her neck. Then Sarah collapsed before Emma's eyes. She slowly closed her eyes and lay still. The girl bore guilty power. She desired a change in form. The world lives needed urgent salvation. Her grand plan could not be delayed. Elsewhere, Faye said, we have no clues where the demon emperor reincarnated. There is no lead right now. Gran, I want to prepare contingency measures to prevent him assimilating 2 peak human powerhouses. We currently cannot handle that. She suggested following the soul fragment clue. It may give us something. He thought, or soul fragment, you mean the current silent demon king. You and Del have interacted with her for a long time. Ja family talent can discern truth and lies. She truly is righteous, unwilling to side with demon race. This may be our only breakthrough. A name surfaced in Gran's mind. Silent Demon King Soul Fragment. A voice spoke. Do we really have to trust demon race once? Do not forget our goal. To kill demon race. Eradicate evil. Until we are satisfied. Until we hunt them all down. Faye waved her hand, asking, why are you spacing out? He snapped back, nothing, just lost focus briefly. Night fell over the forest. Ron led the way. The terrain is very flat. She asked, what are you planning? Ron replied, just as I said. Prepare contingency plans. Call that Vampire Knight. Have him pass Demon Emperor intel to the human side. Sula followed. Vampire. Is that not a legendary monster? Faye explained, you have not seen his abilities yet. I'd only heard rumors about his terrifying power and ruthless methods. Even villains would rather kill themselves than ever fall into his hands. Ron slit his hand and let his blood drip onto the ground. The next moment, a huge red magic circle appeared. 2 hours later, the little girl walked up to it. Maybe it had been too many years since he'd been called, so for a moment he didn't even react in time. Faye leaned against a boulder. My body has burned through a huge amount of energy. I want to sleep for a bit. If the vampire shows up, wake me up. But the magic circle still didn't show any other movement. And Sula looked totally deflated. Seriously, are vampires with wings even real? Aren't they only in horror stories? Then suddenly, a powerful gust of wind rose up, freezing the little girl in place. Trembling in fear, Sula glanced back over her shoulder. Phew, she'd scared herself. It was just a bat. But the instant she turned back, a blood-soaked claw appeared right in front of her. Sula screamed as loud as she could, terrified out of her mind. Uncle, save me. The little girl fell back on the ground. A gigantic monster crawled out, covered in sharp spikes. I didn't summon you here just to scare people, okay? Get serious for me. That little brat Ron was giving off a suffocating, killing aura. The knight, after the fight, couldn't help whispering, the one who knew this formation to summon me has long been dead. He gripped the blood-forged blade in his hand, lips curling into non-stop, baffling mockery. And just how did you people learn this? Heavenly curse seal, blood source incantation. Rhea poured out all her mana, glowing with a rich golden light. That vampire knight really didn't look like an ally. Sula clung to Ron's leg, stammering in panic. This guy, he looks really pissed. The knight raised his blade, still dripping with blood, and threatened everyone. I hope you'll answer honestly on your own. Otherwise, I'll have to invite answers out of you. And Ron faced the blade head-on, not the least bit afraid. In a light tone he murmured, nice rhetorical flourish. A language teacher would give you at least an 80. His eyes flashed with icy killing intent. That gloomy face stared straight at him. But that's it?
Honestly, I'm disappointed.
The knight froze at those words. Seeing Ron's cold expression, Ron seemed to guess who was beneath the mask, one of his former students. His eyes glinted, frighteningly sharp. Viren, you're still failing my class. Hearing that familiar tone, he immediately pulled off his mask and whispered, could it be? Beneath it was Viren's sorrow-filled face. His voice shook slightly. Professor Ron, he couldn't help remembering those days. Back when he was still a student at the academy. Back then, Viren was helpless as bullies tortured him, pinning him to the ground while he screamed, "Don't burn my hand." The ringleader of the bullying was Eden, the heir of the Lauren family. He held a scorching hot iron in his hand. Why? Viren, powerless, tears splashing onto the ground, muttered, "My mom will see." Eden looked at Viren like that, and instead of pity, he mocked him even harder. So that's how it is, unlike the ruthless Lauren family. A normal mother actually cares about her kids, and kids don't want to make their mom sad or worried either. Then his face darkened, turning vicious as he burst into laughter. He slammed the red-hot iron onto Viren's arm. But what does that have to do with me? On the sizzling iron, fresh blood from Viren still clung to it. Eden's face twisted with cruel delight. Now it's the other hand. Just then, a huge hand suddenly grabbed the searing iron. Ron, expression cold and flat. He crushed the glowing iron right in his grip. Ron's sharp eyes swept over them in warning. Do it again, and I'll notify your older brother to come take you home. Eden and his lackeys stumbled back in fear, fuming, "A honorary professor, who hasn't even passed the civil exam. You've got some nerve." They hadn't even finished their sentence when Ron lost all patience and struck hard, sending them flying out of the academy. After that, he slowly healed Viren's injuries, then turned and left again. Seeing him leave, Viren rushed after him. "Wait!" He pushed past the crowd on the road, quickly chasing after Ron. "Please wait." As Ron's figure disappeared behind the door, Viren hurried forward. Before he could say his next words, he was stopped right outside, as the door suddenly slammed shut. "Thank you, sir." Two students outside the window were buzzing with excitement, gaping and marveling inside. The huge lecture hall was packed to the brim, at least thousands of students. "You seriously don't know?" Viren quickly stepped up to the window, watching inside as the other student explained, "That's the demon-slaying madman. He fought alone deep in demon territory, and only rarely has time to teach combat for a few days." Inside the vast lecture hall, it was wall-to-wall people, with Ron seriously teaching from the podium. People who want to hunt demons and become heroes would probably fight till their heads split, just to hear one of his lessons. The two students clung to the window, acting like total fanatics, shocked by all the important people inside. "Look over there. Why are there so many princes here?" Viren quietly lowered his eyes and walked away amid their excited chatter. "Yeah, the 6th prince, the 7th prince, the 9th princess, and the 8th prince, the number 1 hottie of the Eastern Sea. That bastard even forced someone to give up their seat, and Professor Ron grabbed him by the collar and threw him out." Viren trudged down the road, totally dejected, not noticing something strange in the bushes behind him. "Someone like me, how could I ever thank him?" Suddenly a bunch of ropes shot out from the grass, wrapping tightly around his body. Iden and his group used the talent seal, controlling plants to hang Viren upside down from a tall tree. They wouldn't stop sneering. "This is the deserted area outside the academy. Scream all you want, it won't help." Iden looked up at Viren hanging upside down and mocked him. "Fine, I'll give you a chance to live. Go lure Ron onto our family's turf. I want to catch him and torture him." Viren wasn't scared. He flared up in anger, shouting back with everything he had. "Eden!" Eden's disgusting face twisted as he immediately controlled the ropes and the surrounding plants. "Oh, didn't expect you to be so stubborn." They kept tightening the ropes, crushing down on his body, making Viren writhe in agony. Seeing this, Eden couldn't help laughing wickedly. "Grinding your bones to dust is a long process. Hope you enjoy it as much as I do." The two lackeys beside him laughed, thrilled out of their minds. Where should we bury him later? Same old spot. The Lauren families. Torture methods are terrifying. I can't let them catch Professor Ron. I can't let them hurt him. I have to stop them. That's right, the talent seal. I have to use my talent seal to break free. Viren's body slowly sank into darkness. His helplessness kept spilling out. Through his pain-filled voice. I'm such an idiot. I was too scared to train my talent seal. So I don't even know how to use it. I'm in so much pain I can't breathe. I'm going to die. Right then, Ron appeared and tore apart the ropes that were brutally tightening around Viren's body. A faint look of approval flashed across his face, hard to notice, as he gave a small chuckle. Kid, you're a stubborn one, aren't you? Viren finally escaped that choking pressure, and the first thing he said was to worry about Ron. The Laurens want to hurt you. Where are those three guys? Ron didn't care at all and calmly explained, they're coming down. The bodies of those guys, Eden and the rest, were hurled high into the air, and were now dropping in free fall toward the ground. Their bodies slammed into the earth, creating a horrifying scene. Viren's eyes went wide, shocked out of his mind by what he was seeing, while Ron spoke in a breezy tone. Their parents will probably have to work pretty hard, just to haul them back. From above, Ron stared down at him and instructed, come to class tomorrow. I saw your talent seal on the registration board before. It has real potential. Viren was stunned hearing those words, then asked, confused, but my classmates said, my talent seal is terrifying. I don't dare use it. Hearing that, Ron didn't quite agree. If it's terrifying, then make it the enemy's nightmare. Professor Ron, I honestly don't know how to thank you. That's your problem to think about. I'm not obligated to think for you. I'm still debating what I'm eating today. Viren trotted along behind him, chattering nonstop. Tonight my mom's making fruitcake. Professor, what fruit do you like? Ron answered without hesitation. Wild strawberries. Immediately. Back in the present, Ron couldn't help warning him. Viren, do you understand the key point now? Viren stood before him, serious and analyzed. I get it. I'll depart right away. First, I'll share the Demon Emperor's intel with the nations, so they can strengthen their defenses. Still uneasy, Ron continued to emphasize, the key is those two people. Absolutely do not let the Demon Emperor take their bodies.
Su lançou todo besi de dia.
Staring at her with confusion. What are they talking about? Jia smiled at the girl and explained gently, the Elegant Emperor, Storm View Ha, two top-tier powerhouses, known as humanity's twin pillars. The Elegant Emperor, King and Na, and Storm View Ha, who revived mankind, leader of the Northern Alliance. The Supreme Warrior. Viren stood before Ron, reporting the situation with utmost seriousness. Storm View Ha has been retired for 3 or 4 years now. I'll probably have a hard time meeting him directly to talk. Hearing that, Ron muttered with a hint of regret, I was going to ask you whether he still has the courage he had back then. What a shame. Hearing Ron's tone, Viren immediately continued, I understand. After all, he's the only one who ever beat you head-on, Professor. Of course you'd pay extra attention to him. Ron brushed past Viren, lightly patting his shoulder. All right, Viren, get moving. 1 second slower means one more chance for the Demon Emperor. Viren quickly put his mask back on. Long wings immediately spread out behind me. I won't let you down. He leapt straight into the air and flew off fast, leaving the forest behind. Seeing him go, Sulan waved excitedly goodbye. Ria watched Viren's silhouette fade, then couldn't help sighing. Honestly, that armor of his really makes people uncomfortable. Ron looked a bit satisfied too, watching the direction he flew off. Smiling, this time we don't have to worry about the rear catching fire. Now we can go all out and investigate the whereabouts of the reincarnated Demon Emperor. Ron turned his back to Ria and headed the other way. Before leaving, he didn't forget to remind her, I need to arrange work for all departments, so when we set out, they won't come cause trouble. This trip to find the Twilight Demon King is not a short distance. I'll go to the cavalry camp and pick 2 horses with good endurance. While I'm at it, I'll see if there's a good quality ceramic jar too. Hearing that, she looked confused.
A ceramic jar?
Ron's face suddenly darkened as he muttered an explanation. If we can't kill the demon emperor, then we cut off his limbs, stuff him into a ceramic jar, and since his punishment decree can affect people through eye contact, any creature with weak seal power gets erased instantly. So we have to gouge his eyes out. And that silver tongue of his that's so damn persuasive, best to rip out his tongue too. His body. Ron kept radiating a ferocious, razor-sharp killing intent. Whenever he mentioned the Demon King, for the rest of my life, I'll keep casting healing spells, dragging out his life, until he survives like a dying dog. After I die, the healing arts of the compassion sect will be passed down generation after generation. Fear on Ria's face grew more and more obvious. Honestly, sometimes I feel really lucky that you're not on the side of evil forces. A group of monsters was patrolling the area around the mountain. One of them whispered with interest, "You hear the news yet? Yesterday, another guy tried to steal the throne, challenging the leader, Bone Crusher. They say he actually fought him to a draw, and the leader even praised him and spared his life." The cavalry commander, the killing star of Yuan Mountain territory, heard that and frowned, puzzled. Only a draw? He mounted his horse, ready to leave, and couldn't help sighing as he went. If I had a good opportunity, I could definitely kill Bone Crusher and take the leader's seat. The one beside him heard him say that and looked toward the entrance, suddenly terrified. He's here. It's him. The surrounding goblins heard that and froze on the spot, staring wide-eyed at the gate. That murderous cavalry commander saw Ron and instantly prepared to fight. Him? Hell no, I'm not someone to mess with. But then his body suddenly went rigid. He couldn't move at all. He stared at the hand reaching toward him, panic spiraling out of control. Begging now might still be in time. His pupils widened to the limit. As he watched Ron's fingers move joint by joint, he stayed frozen in terror, while Ron simply ignored him, walking straight toward the 2 horses behind. Right then, a loud, arrogant voice rang out, "Move aside, Lord Samak Na has arrived." Samak Na, the deputy leader of Yuan Mountain territory, strode inside step by step, making the little monsters tremble. "Listen up, leader," said he'll be out for a while. His ugly face pulled into a strange, creepy smile. "Hurry and prep the feast supplies. I'm going to hold a very surprising send-off ceremony for the leader." Ron was furious, clenching the long blade strapped to his back, thinking these bootlickers think they're so clever that they dare show off like this and let him run wild. All it does is expose my movements and phase. If other demon kings notice something off, it'll be a real problem. Then the cavalry commander below heard that and sneered, couldn't help mocking, getting mad at a useless piece of trash who won't even gut a fish. "If I held power in my hands, I'd lead you all to storm cities every day." The one next to him heard him ranting and sighed. He's got the leader backing him. Even if we're better fighters, we still have to bow our heads. Samaknya had no idea when he appeared right in front of them. He angrily stomped the cavalryman and yelled, "You like gossiping, huh? Fine, starting now you're the messenger. You're not allowed to touch any weapons anymore. Got a problem with that?" Pinned to the ground under Samak Na's boot, he answered, extremely respectful, "Lord Samak Na, I'll follow your arrangements." Seeing the chaos unfold, Ron immediately relaxed his grip on the sword he was about to draw and calculated. So that's what it is. Faye really understands the demon's pros and cons. This kind of pest is actually useful to humans. Letting trash like this sit high up, you can restrain the demon army at the lowest cost. Killing him would be a waste. Right after that, Ron looked at Samak Na and mocked him. Showing off like this goes against the leader's principle of saving resources. Ron kept going, provoking him with a face full of contempt. "Aren't you afraid you'll make the leader unhappy?" But Samak Na felt insulted and leaned in close, then shouted, Are you teaching me how to do my job? His ugly face, when angry, became even more disgusting. He narrowed his eyes, voice echoing as he cursed. That's right. You didn't kneel to me just now, did you? But lucky for you, I'm generous. I'll give a little brat who made a mistake one chance to make up for it. Ron casually wiped the dirt off his face, while Samak Na preened smugly. Bow your head and I'll forgive you. Then Samak Na seemed to think of something amusing. He coughed and called over a little goblin beside him. Come here, no wait, the ground's kind of hard. I'm worried you'll crack your head. He used a shovel to pile a heap of filthy, stinking mud in front of Ron. Samak Na laughed loudly with twisted amusement. Do it. He laughed brazenly, ugly and loud. Now bow your head. The monsters nearby couldn't help bursting into laughter at the sight. Now this is gonna be good. Ron didn't care about this petty nonsense at all, staying cold and indifferent. But Samak Na wasn't about to let him off the hook, closing in without backing down, leaning right to Ron's ear. If you don't bow your head right now, I'll report you to the leader. His face grew more and more grotesque, his threatening voice louder and louder, like a frog in a well. Have you ever seen how terrifying the leader really is? If the leader finds out you don't know your place, he could scare you to death in under an hour. And then Lord, Samak Na won't have the chance to beg for you anymore. Ron calmly studied his creepy face, quietly judging. If I teach him a lesson, I might hit too hard and ruin his confidence, so he won't keep managing the demons here later. Seeing Ron not move,
Samak Na grew impatient.
What, did fear scramble your brain? Why aren't you saying anything? He didn't wait for Ron to respond, both hands sliding to the back of Ron's neck, getting ready to force his head into the foul pile of dirt in front of him. Fine, I'll help you wake up. Bow your head for me. Suddenly, Samak Na's legs were struck by something, and his whole body flipped up into the air. Then he face-planted straight into the stinking mud pile, as the surrounding monsters burst into delighted laughter. All the monsters around them. Samak Na angrily lifted his head from the filthy mud, his face a mix of shock and rage. Jia appeared behind him at some point, coldly warning him, Samak Na, what do you think you're doing? When he saw Jia, his tone and posture changed instantly, sidling up to her and flattering the leader. This brat won't follow my orders. You should punish him hard. Right after that, he turned to Ron, face twisted in anger, and shouted, You're finished. But then Jia's weapon stabbed hard into Samak Na's leg, sending him into unbearable pain. Kneel. He collapsed to his knees, bowing his head before Ron, trembling in confusion. Leader, why would you? Her cold voice rang out from behind him, making Samak Na tremble in terror. If I hear one more word of why, you can start preparing your coffin. The two of them got ready to lead the horses away. Rhea looked down at the little demons below, and couldn't help warning them seriously. From now on, when you see him, kneel immediately, until he leaves your sight. Only then are you allowed to stand back up. Ron, hearing her speak so seriously, whispered softly, There's no need to be that dramatic. I never intended to kill him anyway. The little monsters, seeing such a strange scene, were completely stunned. What's going on? Keep your voices down. The leader's attitude toward him clearly shows he's not just a powerhouse, but very likely a big shot. Someone sent by the brutal demon king.
Samak Na,
Kneeling on the ground amid everyone's criticism, looked utterly miserable. That filthy immigrant from a fallen dynasty should have been dealt with long ago. This time he really kicked a steel plate. He froze there on the ground, watching the two of them leave, lost in thought. Just how terrifyingly strong is he? For the leader to act like that? This time I've offended him. My future is definitely finished. As if making up his mind, he muttered, I must earn merit to atone for my sins by properly managing Yuan Mountain, territory that the leader personally entrusted to me. Sitting on the horse watching, Sula being gently lifted up by Ron. The Twilight Demon King deeply hates the Demon Emperor, which proves the current situation. She will definitely do her best to support Ron. Hearing that, he nodded in agreement and sighed, let's hope so. Right now, this is the only road left to choose. The two powerful horses let out a loud cry, as the pair quickly left the forest behind, bathed in sunset light, heading to meet one of the 5 great demon kings, the master of the Twilight Royal Court Funling. That night, at the Eternal Garden Palace, the capital of New Bailu City, inside the magnificent castle, a woman's soft voice echoed through the hall. I am very pleased, as the ruler of my eternal royal court. The demon race has completed the first stage of evolution. Tu sat upon the supreme demon king's throne, his cold eyes sweeping across the room. Tools of slaughter can never replace humanity in ruling the world. Only another civilization can truly achieve that. Now, even the lowest demons possess emotions. This is the foundation of civilization. His indifferent, icy voice echoed throughout the chamber. At this meeting, I hope to advance the next step of civilization. Human faith has made great contributions. Those revered after death become gods. We should also make all demons worship the demon emperor, elevating him to a demon god. As soon as his words ended, the war demon king Agricola, who always sought victory upon victory, immediately voiced his approval. Sometimes the dead are more useful than the living. I support this. The brutal demon king, Udret, who plunged the human world into endless war, also raised no objections. The desolation demon king Mana, who turned coal, wine, and grain into dust, spoke calmly, his tone faint. If you already have my son's support, then there's no need to pretend and ask my opinion as his father. What I think doesn't matter anyway. The Twilight demon king Funling, who never allows the dead to rest, looked somewhat angry. Being invited to today's meeting, she spoke bluntly, your demon affairs have nothing to do with me. Why invite me here just to spoil the mood? The eternal demon king too, heir to demonkind, looked displeased at her words, but still explained calmly, Funling, I understand your stance, and I won't force you to abandon everything from the old era. At this point, Funling felt a trace of doubt, as she listened to Tu's next words. But I believe one day you'll understand. Exterminating humanity is not my goal. A look of resolve appeared on his face, as if this were the most correct decision for a ruler in this new era. Funling glanced at him indifferently. I'll take my leave. Tu showed no reaction. Very well, everyone, our meeting will continue. At that moment, countless horse tracks crossed a barren land. A desolate scene at the brutal royal court, the lawless zone. Ron rode onward, crossing region after region. At the same time, the vampire knight Viren had already begun, rapidly spreading the news to humanity about the demon emperor's reincarnation and his terrifying power. After flying non-stop for days, all that effort finally brought him to the kingdom of Ana, the wartime capital, Restoration City. Heron calmly said to Viren, there's no need to be so stiff and formal. We don't place too much emphasis on court etiquette. Viren, starving and exhausted, replied, you're overthinking it, I'm just not very talkative. The man gestured forward. His Majesty is dining. You can report directly. Viren glanced ahead, thinking about the elegant emperor. This was his first time meeting a blood-soaked tyrant who killed kings, killed his own son to seize the throne. A true peak powerhouse. What kind of person would he be? A pleasant breakfast was underway, when a voice rang out, so you're Viren the vampire knight? The king of Ana, the elegant emperor who restored humanity, spoke calmly, my 8th son speaks very highly of you. It's a pity that when he knighted you back then, I had urgent matters and couldn't attend. This is our first meeting, and it just happens to coincide with mealtime. Please sit. Heron also chimed in, though this may slightly diminish royal dignity, Your Majesty treats his subjects with sincere respect. He continued, now hurry and have the scribes record this in the White King's book. Prime Minister. The White King's book records the merits and good deeds of Ana's rulers through the ages. The Black King's book records their foolishness and evil deeds. The elegant emperor looked up and laughed. My prime minister loves using the Black King's book to scare me. Today it's rare to hear something pleasant instead. Viren couldn't help thinking. The elegant emperor felt a bit different from what he had imagined. He placed his hand on the table. Your Majesty, I wish to report matters regarding the demon emperor and the 5 heroes. The king replied immediately, eat and speak freely. After a long while the meal ended, but the conversation continued. The elegant emperor pondered. So that means for now, Stormview Ha and I must avoid killing, lest we accidentally kill the reincarnated demon emperor, and be assimilated by his power. Viren replied firmly, yes, your majesty. As for Stormview Ha, he used seclusion as an excuse, and took only a few trusted guards to Cayenne Island. He's been training there for 3 years, 8 months, and 27 days. I'll send a covert agent to deliver the intel to him. Heron stepped forward slowly. Your Majesty, the spy you sent into demon territory has returned. He requests an audience. Viren asked to take his leave. Thank you, Your Majesty, but it wouldn't be appropriate for me to stay during another audience. The elegant emperor replied calmly. It's fine, you don't need to avoid it. I trust your character. Very well, I'll take you to the guest chambers to rest. You've had a hard journey. Viren was surprised. Your Majesty, personally, a servant escort would be enough. The king stood up. It's midday rest time. Calling servants to the rest chambers would be troublesome. Viren turned and asked, it seems you trust that spy quite a lot. You even entrusted him with delivering intel about the demon emperor. The elegant emperor replied calmly. He's troublesome, yes, but this is exactly the kind of job a human spy should handle. The royal spy Limidop of Ana knelt down. Your Majesty, I successfully retrieved military intelligence from the War Royal Court and the Brutal Royal Court, as well as measurement data on the extreme demon skeletons of Yuan Mountain. I also eliminated a newly formed force from the Brutal Royal Court. He looked up in shock. Your Majesty, why is the Vampire Knight here? The elegant emperor replied calmly. You two haven't met before, have you? Allow me to introduce you. This is my subordinate, the royal spy Limidop, and this is a vassal of the 8th prince, Lord of the Loron Valley, the Vampire Knight, Viren. Standing aside, Viren thought to himself, a demon actually loyal to the elegant emperor. Limidop continued his report. The War Royal Court intends to amass a grand army. Most of the brutal tribes east of Yuan Mountain territory are pro-war factions, and are highly likely to answer the call. He stepped aside. Sir Viren, His Majesty said he must arrange military forces, so he asked me to escort you to rest. Limidop smiled. What's wrong? You don't trust me? Viren replied calmly. A demon who appears loyal to humans. Honestly, anyone would find that hard to believe. Limidop replied, let me clarify one thing. It's not loyalty, it's an employment relationship. Viren pressed on. Just for money? You're willing to betray your own race? Limidop bowed slightly. In this chaotic age of war, this is the stage for powerhouses like you. Finding a patron, grabbing a chance to earn some money, that's what weaklings like me should do. As for demon race or human race, tell me, can you even tell which gold bar belongs to demons, and which belongs to humans? Demons and humans can fight however they want. What the hell does that have to do with me? I just want to make money, and get far away from this war-torn land, to enjoy life on the Lunai continent across the sea. Viren said coldly, with clear sarcasm, this is the price of civilization's so-called evolution. Among a crowd of killers, an especially selfish wretch emerges. Limidop replied indifferently, good insult. If I'm benefiting unfairly, I deserve it. I don't want to be like those hypocrites, scheming for their own gain on one hand, while on the other, trying to silence others about dirty business like this. Just thinking about it disgusts me. Speaking of selfishness, I'm reminded of your teacher, Ron. He's the very model of selflessness, truly worthy of being called a hero, fighting for the innocent, determined to wipe out all evil. Viren snapped back. If you've got something to say it straight, stop dancing around it. Limidop replied mockingly. Then tell me, is he really that noble and selfless? Does he truly have no desires at all? Or do his desires just happen to align with crushing evil and saving the people, conveniently earning him praise along the way? Who knows what dark little secrets he hides in his heart? Maybe he's just lying to himself. Viren swiftly drew his sword, pressing it to Limidop's neck. He lowered his voice, threatening the next words. You'd better think carefully before you keep talking. Limidop revealed the truth calmly. He was the one who killed the Scarlet Demons, who bullied me back then. You could say he helped me vent my anger. Viren replied coldly, you're speaking in hypotheticals. Limidop glanced aside. I'm just saying, what if he were still alive, not dead 5 years ago? Then one day, when forced to choose between righteousness and desire, what choice would he make? As dusk slowly fell over the lawless lands, Ron stared ahead blankly and said, at this pace, it'll take at least half a month to cross the endless lands before we reach the Twilight Royal Court. Sula stayed fully alert. Luckily, this place is desolate enough. We haven't run into demon bandits blocking the road. Ron's voice carried back, don't let your guard down, Sula. Since we've got time, you should learn a few ways to protect yourself. He then asked, do you have a talent seal?
Sula nodded confidently. Ido.
But Grandpa and I were always fleeing from demon wars, so we never got a chance to test it. I only know that my forging speed is faster, and Grandpa said it felt like someone was secretly helping me. Ron said seriously, if talent isn't developed, even a genius can be buried for life. In your case, you can probably use it subconsciously, but don't notice it unless danger strikes. When danger comes, it naturally reveals itself. So I'll teach you basic soul force usage. Sula nodded. Okay. Ron continued, as long as someone with a talent seal is alive, their heart continuously generates soul force, spreading throughout the body, flowing invisibly without tangible form. There are 4 basic ways to use soul force: mobilization, temporary enhancement of total seal power, release of seal power, and shaping seal power. For example, earlier when I only had 1 seal, I could pierce a chest with my hand, because I completely abandoned defense, concentrating seal power in my hand to strengthen it. That's called mobilization. Normally, mobilizing seal power to the eyes lets you see farther. With the Ancient Serpent Bloodline Talent Seal, you can even use thermal vision. Earlier, when Faye fought Fierce Thunder, she used enhancement to boost total seal power, increasing its density until her body was as hard as stone. I also used shaping, transforming seal power into a hollow protective layer around my body. Here, I first used shaping and the Ancient Serpent Bloodline Talent Seal to form a snake, then used release to let it operate outside my body. Kid, Ron instructed, now start by learning the most basic mobilization. Feel the existence of seal power, then mobilize it and focus it in your hand. Sula immediately followed his instructions. Ron reminded her not to say it out loud. The girl lit up with joy. I can feel it. It's flowing. Ron nodded. As expected, you're extremely talented. Now grab your hammer and swing it. Does it feel lighter than before? Sula beamed. Yes. Ron observed, you can also use mobilization to channel seal power into the hammer. Some sword techniques work on this same principle, but seal power applied to external objects is less effective. Bardi steel weapons are one of the exceptions. Alright, now let's practice defense first. Protecting your life is the most important thing. Your seal power is limited, so for now, focus on localized defense. Concentrate all your seal power in your arm, strengthening bones and flesh. Get ready. I'll strike with relatively light force. Do your best to defend. Sula steeled herself. Switching roles. I'd definitely be nervous. But with your level, uncle, you'll surely pull back the moment my defense breaks, right? Ron replied teasingly. I'll heal your severed arm instantly. Immediately, Sula's arm burst with brilliant light, and she raised it to block his strike at once. Ron swung the staff down hard onto Sula's arm. Her innate technique, Mountain Bronze Legion Seal, activated instantly. Ron stared intently. Humans usually only unlock their potential when they're pushed to the brink of danger.